Don't worry, we'll be looking at the XRP in this video. People only have 6 days left. October starts in 6 days. Over the past 10 years, October has been a green month 80% of the time, with some months returning 4 to 5 times the initial return. Without further ado, things are going to get crazy out there. Now let's get started on this. Right now, Bitcoin is up 1%. That's a significant increase. I am aware that it has reached a high of 6,353. Well, we did break 64K yesterday. Recall that 66 Bitcoin and 74,000 Bitcoin will unlock 88K. Ethereum, which debuted at 2,617, is currently experiencing a decline. Both the USDT and USDC have decreased by 96%. To 99 cents in XRP. That said, it's still battling for 60C. Yes, but not too much has changed between yesterday and today. Throughout the past week, not much has changed. We're still struggling with that big ass resistance degree at 60 cents. It's also disheartening to observe such a significant increase. I believe there was a slight uptrend yesterday, with the Solana closing at 38 cents, an increase of approximately 3%. 148 represents a 2.36% increase. I shared my predictions with you. Solana is going to go berserk, so keep that in mind. I expect it to compete with XRP for the top 2 or 3 slots. Check out the cryptocurrency market cap of $2 trillion, $247 billion. A place of Fidelity and BlackRock. The combined trade volume of Bitcoin was 869 million. It was wonderful to see yesterday. People, this is just going to get bigger and bigger. More institutions will be receiving M. There will be more Bitcoin-based ETFs. Come to pass, this is what we're talking about when we want to see an increase in ETS volume, a rise in the total cryptocurrency market capitalization to $7 to $10 trillion, and more. Institutions participate in marketplaces for cryptocurrencies. Yes, all of that money will initially rotate to Bitcoin, but you can bet that a large portion of it will eventually rotate out and enter your preferred coin. Just take a moment to consider your favorite altcoin. If the markets double their current price and reach 7 to 10 trillion, we would have almost $6 XRP, bringing us very close to our long-term target. Keep in mind that 75 cents will unlock the potential to reach $6 at a minimum XRP level. I put this out there for MoneyGram, the world's second largest money transfer company after Western Union. Indeed, a cyber attack occurred at MoneyGram, preventing millions of customers and businesses from accessing their funds or completing transactions. I ought to have been utilizing the XRP ledger instead. Ledger is safe from cyber attacks. There's still time and money. Graham, all you need to do is enter enable into your one line of code, as the infrastructure and technology are already in place. All you need to do is complete this step to activate the XRP ledger again. You will be able to start saving money for both your clients and yourself. Don't you care about their finances? Graham, have you not grown weary of the absence of stolen accounts? Don't you grow weary after 3 or 5 days? Aren't you tired of the constant threats and cyber attacks? If I were you, I'd be an FTX. They will be there once more. Carolyn Chick is set to distribute $16 billion, yes, a billion with a B, next week, in case you missed the announcement. She was Sam Baker-Fried's girlfriend, wife, or whatever she was called. She was a partner who had recently been sentenced to prison. Look, she's been off the hook for 2 years now. Simply put, she should be working hard. More than 2 years behind bars. If you ask me, your coins go like most stuff. Liquidity will return to altcoins and bitcoins. You're curious about how we begin in October. I'm not sure why, but it seems like the timing is perfect. To imply that it's already next week will see the return of October's $16 billion to its creditors. Even if we witness an influx of $8 billion into the cryptocurrency markets, this will start to cause some agitation. The money will gravitate towards Bitcoin, which is where you want to be. Let's talk about surpassing the $66,000 mark. This coin would make a fantastic kickstart. He said, the kid put something out like this. What impact will this have on Bitcoin? He is encouraging us to continue our upward trajectory. Learn about the $66,000 area, where we anticipate resistance and a subsequent decline to roughly $57K before this monster blows up in your face. I saw a decline between 50 and 55, and that might push XRP back down to the lower 50-cent range, or possibly 48 cents. But I believe that will be the last shakeout before these markets completely collapse. I have been discussing this story for some time now, and I firmly believe it will come to pass, particularly in light of the current state of the cryptocurrency markets and the sentiment on social media sites like Twitter. Even if October is everyone's favorite month, this does not guarantee that the markets will suddenly turn green. We may witness a week of negative pressure before these markets fully surge. You should consider this possibility and be prepared if it does occur. As I previously mentioned, I have set aside funds, and should the situation arise, I plan to make a final purchase before things spiral out of control. Examine this. BlackRock is in charge of digital assets. Is this the ex-Ripple, Robbie Mitch's neck? Employee, I'm not sure what you should say to the person who released the fair paper evaluation at XP's expense. He went over to BlackRock and said, he's running their head of digital assets, and Bitcoin is the scarcest asset. Bitcoin was trading between $6 and $12 at a low and $32 at a high. Discuss the global decentralized non-so asset you wish to discuss, and who will be there is a new market emerging. The market will no longer be ours, it will instead be big lads pay attention to Robbie. The retail investor base is large enough to make this a difficult sell if you try to convince them that it's digital gold, but the volatility is still quite high, and many people don't know what it is. Will it eventually serve as a substitute for other payment options in different parts of the world? Is it something you own but will never sell? When you think about Bitcoin, we think of it. But how do you convince a generation of people who haven't bought this asset? This asset is primarily marketed as a new global monetary alternative. This asset is rare, decentralized, non-sovereign, and it has no national boundaries. Returning to our earlier discussion, specific risk lacks traditional counterparty risk, making it an intriguing investment opportunity, particularly in a world where concerns about money printing, currency debasement risks, and political, fiscal, and sustainability challenges are on the rise in the U.S. and other regions. Additionally, investors find it confusing when people talk about it as a risk because, based on the properties that I just described, you would think of it as a risk, and that's where I believe it has a marketing issue. You could say that. The truth is that there are usually 2 or 3 events per year that have an actual impact on the fundamental value of Bitcoin. However, I would argue that there have been 4 this year. This makes it difficult to write daily stories accurately, so you see this tendency to sort of allude to events in the stock market, unemployment, employment, or manufacturing that are unrelated to Bitcoin. BlackRock knows that Fidelity is aware of all of the institutional players, and we demonstrated to you yesterday how much money the institutions are putting into these markets. As we've previously informed you, the primary driver of these markets' explosive growth is likely to be the quantity of unutilized printed paper in cryptocurrency. Next, we obtain this chart is the one you don't trust. October has an 80% hit rate. The rate on these marketplaces is simply out of control. Typically, October, November, and December are extremely optimistic months for cryptocurrency. Hello everyone, it's October, or odd years, as we like to call it, and it's just 6 days away. October 1st will mark the start of the biggest season ever. I believe the biggest Bitcoin season you've ever seen will begin, but not the biggest season overall. He asks, what have we accomplished, and where are we now? We experienced a brief dip below, followed by an ascent. The Bitcoin to US dollar chart displays a similar pattern. This reminds me of a similar chart, which requires one more downward adjustment before it can be displayed. However, everything is scheduled for October. People, forecasts for Bitcoin by year's end, 100K, 50, and 175,000 are locked in targets with a potential 225 parabolic blowoff. People, we are going to make a lot of money in these cryptocurrency markets, and it may be the case that Bitcoin and your altcoins rise as well. Remember, it's as simple as that, and the time for the upcoming elections is rapidly approaching. The banks investing all their capital in these markets will be the final bull run we ever witness.